get into this game number one. We have a long night ahead of us. We've got Yellow Solo Mid up against Azure. It's of course the best of three. After that we've got Venom Gaming up against Big Brown Coconuts, and then it's Noxious Gaming up against Kane's Kitchen 5. So a lot of Dota tonight.
A lot of Dota is a little bit of an underestimate there. 2:30 in the morning we're going to, so that's going to be quite fun. And so far, Yellow so Mid, they've taken out that Batrider, and over on Azure, they've taken out that Outlaw Devourer.
Yeah, so these, despite, Batrider's been a little bit nerfed in 6.79, that's for sure. But he's still a very strong pick, still a very strong hero. OD as well. Didn't really get changed at all in the last patch, from memory. I'd be curious to see if Lich gets banned out here. He has been banned out quite a lot recently. He's been made quite strong in the most recent patch, both with the changes he's received, but also the general changes regarding lane equilibrium and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, Elder Titan is still in the pool as well. He's very strong, and it's going to be a Nug Siren banner from Azure, so it looks like a Lich or Elder Titan will probably get through. I don't suspect any team will ban IO. I haven't seen an IO ban ever since the new patch. Um, it seems like he's been nerfed to the point where no one wants to play him anymore.
Yeah, he's been taken off the radar. I mean, it's a small nerf. Well, I'd say it's a fairly big, removing that stun off of Io and only having a movement speed slower. I think it's 100% movement speed slower, but that stun was effective, being able to cancel and just stopped heroes straight in their track. Now heroes can still cast away and destroy that IO and turn fights around, which is a little bit hard for that IO, since I don't think we'll be seeing him anymore. I mean, he's still there for that niche kind of lineup. If you have your Nature's Prophet, Lifestealer, IO, go for some other roaming potential, but I don't know. Poor IO. I don't think we'll be seeing him for a while. We do see that Lich being taken out. So, as you're saying, we're not going to be seeing any change in the creep waves and creep equilibrium this game.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see if Azure pick up that Elder Titan. He was nerfed a little bit in the last patch, but at the end of the day, it just basically means that his window for when you can kill the range creep is much smaller, if it even exists anymore. But I still think Elder Titan, one of his biggest strengths is, of course, his aura, and he fits well in most lineups. He still does incredibly well in the mid lane. So I'm quite curious to see if Azure pick him up, or if they decide to roll something else.
So Azure, they're still looking for their heroes, what they want to pick up. There's still Lifesteal in the pool. He did get slightly nerfed, but he's still quite heavy in this lineup. But a Crystal Maiden first pick. That's interesting. Usually you'd see her fourth, maybe last picked, because she's not such a high prioritized hero. What do you feel about this?
Crystal Maiden first pick is very interesting. I don't really know what to make of it. I'm picking it up. Um, as you said later on, is usually the more common thing. Um, I suspect this just means, based on this, I think Azure just want to go for the, I guess, a little bit of aggression. Crystal Maiden loves to get those early kills, um, just because it also helps her level up much quicker. When she gets those levels going, she can start helping around the map as well. Frostbite and the Frost Nova do incredible amounts of damage. It's some nice lockdown as well, but also that aura can help your allies around the field. Picking up her as a first choice is quite interesting. We do see a Night Stalker coming out from Yellow Solo mid, and then a Bounty Hunter as well. Crystal Maiden is very fragile, so that Bounty Hunter pick can probably pick her off very, very quickly. And we also see a Timbersaw there picked up by Azure as well. So it looks like they're going for a little bit more of that AoE styled playstyle. Timbersaw still, he did receive a nerf last patch, of course, with the Chakram, but he's still a very strong hero.
And you also admit they're going for a very strong, heavy ganking potential lineup. Bounty Hunter, now in this offlane with the 6.7 changes to the neutral creep, he'll be able to hit his level 6 a lot earlier. And once he gets into action with that Night Stalker, especially around possibly midway through the first nighttime, Bounty Hunter should be level 6 by then. Night Stalker and Bounty Hunter, they're going to group up. They'll either kill mid or they'll start roaming around these lands and finding kills around the place. And that track gold, if you can get that early track gold to start rolling in on that Night Stalker, he's going to hit hard, fast, and he's going to hit well and truly into the late game. Usually Night Stalkers, they tend to fall off to the late game, but with that track gold, if Night Stalker can pick up those items early on, he'll be able to scale quite well into the late game and be able to take it in almost that first position role.
Yeah, this bounty hunter, as you have to be careful not to pick up too many fragile heroes. They've already got the Crystal Maiden, but that track gold, as you're saying, it just helps the team really advance themselves forward. And once you have those quicker items up, you can start pushing down towers much quicker. Um, it also sets the enemy team back, of course, because you're getting kills on them and all that sort of stuff, and forcing them out of lane. They have to, as you have to be careful with their picks. They have to pick up something that isn't going to be too skeptical to these ganks, and maybe something that can potentially counter initiate. We do see that Visage get banned out, so Azure, it looks like either they don't want to put the aggression on currently, or at the very least they don't want to go heavy aggression, or at the very least they don't want Yellow Solo mid to roll it. The lifesteal also gets banned out, very strong ban, of course. Darkseer as well. Darkseer, we've seen him fall off a little bit. He still gets picked up, but that vacuum nerf certainly hurt him. And there's the Weaver as well. So Yellow Solo mid, they've got quite a heavy physical damage lineup so far. Quite curious to see if they pick up something else. Well, I'm quite curious to see what supports they pick up to go with this, honestly. Maybe they'll do something that will help boost their physical damage. Maybe they'll pick up something like a Vengeful Spirit. They can throw out that wave, and of course the aura gives them extra right click damage, but we'll see exactly what they go with.
That we will. And Azure, that as you've mentioned out, they will be going for a team for lineup potential. I mean, they've got the Timsel, they've got a Crystal Maiden. Unfortunately, my phone is ringing, which is very frustrating. I'll just cancel that. But yes, Azure will be going for this very teamfight orientated build, and they're going to go for this mid game timing. If they can hit Yellow Solo mid before they can start getting these ganks off, and if Azure, once they group up as a team of 5, Yellow Solo mid, they will not be able to fight this. Because as you've said, they've got no AoE potential. They're all melee, and they're, well, not all melee, they're all physical damage, and physical damage heroes tend to not have any AoE on top of that. So if Azure go up against Yellow Solo mid in a 5v5 fight, if Yellow Solo mid don't have the items or the XP, Azure, they will just roll on top of them.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, Azure, with this Luna pickup, they're clearly going for more. Well, in those team fights at the very least, they want to have the advantage there when they group up as 5. You know, Luna does so much damage with the Eclipse. That ultimate can just decimate teams. Yellow Solo mid, oh, they pick up a win run on that. I'm quite happy to see this. We've seen, I can't even remember who played it last time. We saw some great shackles from Winrunner. Was it played by Roydzy? I can't remember now. But yeah, we've seen Yellow Solo mid pick up a blink dagger on that Windrunner, and just assures her that no matter where she's standing, she can blink to a position where she can land a good shackle. And that's worked out wonders for them. That shackle, the lockdown is simply superb. Quite excited to see how it plays out this game. But yeah, this Windrunner most likely will be by itself in an off lane.
Yeah, and as you've said, that Windrunner, the shackles are fantastic. We did see that come. Think we saw very, very nice shackles come out last night. Can't remember which game it was in as well, but shackles, they can make or break fights. If you get 2 heroes, that's 4 seconds of lockdown that they're just sitting there waiting to be killed. If that lands onto a Crystal Maiden's gone out of this game. If it lands on any of these other heroes, Timbersaw, if you can shut him down before he starts wrecking havoc in your backlines, then they're going to lose this potential and fear that they have. Because Timbersaw, if he gets behind you, you have to face one or two directions. You either have to face him or the rest of the side of Azure. And if you're facing him, you're going to get destroyed from one of 2 directions. And that's just one of the fantastic potentials Timbersaw's offers. But if that shackle comes off, even if he goes flying past and you can lock him down, kill him, and then turn around to re-engage against the rest of Azure, then you'll be in a lot better position. And we do see that Azure picking up that Elder Titan, so they're continuing on with this mass AoE, not to mention that very strong damage output Elder Titan offers into the start of the game in that mid lane, or in that off lane. He can sit around, pick up a lot of creep kills, even sometimes beat the hero that is currently landing in that his opposition, and pick up more creep kills than them. He's just one of those very versatile heroes. And Natural Order will definitely benefit Luna and her passive. So a lot of damage and right click damage will be coming out of this Luna into this mid to late game.
Yeah, this is looking like a very strong lineup from Azure when it comes to the team engagements. Yellow still mid. They're going to have to ensure that in the early game, when there isn't so many team fights and whatnot, they gain the control, they gain in dominance. Maybe they can try to pick off a few kills in there early on. Because once the team fights start happening, once they start grouping up as 5, currently Azure certainly have what looks to be a better lineup. They've got the better AoE, they've got the more damage output in a quick succession. The other team are actually going to pick up a Lion, which is a good choice in my opinion. Has some long-lasting lockdowns and also has the ultimate of his, which can just decimate at the very least one hero. And Azure, they're not exactly very magic defensive. Timbersaw, I mean, he's great when he's reactive. Armor of course helps against the right clicks, but does nothing against magic damage. Crystal Maiden also very fragile, and even Luna in the early stages of the game. So this line pickup I feel is a very good choice, but it also gives them a stun, a lockdown, which they were a little bit lacking. Yes, you have that shackle shot, but you sort of have to aim it well, you have to time it and get the angle. But yeah, so this gives them a little bit more lockdown, and that's the extra stun and the hex as well in the early game could potentially land themselves a kill as well.
And Azure, they should be looking for their final support in this lineup. They will pick up a Bloodseeker, so we should be seeing that Elder Titan on Timbersaw ran as that 4th hero support. I would presume that'd be your Elder Titan Bloodseeker running mid. Actually, that's interesting because Elder Titan and Timbersaw can both run that offline. It's going to be strange to see who they will run on as their 4th position support. If they choose to have one, this is a little bit greedy of a build in my opinion because Elder Titan needs items, so does that Timbersaw, because Elder Titan wants that ability to be able to spam his abilities out, and Timbersaw, he needs items for his sustainability and survivability in these fights. So it's going to be a little bit strange, a little bit greedy coming out by Azure, but we'll see how well they can make this pay off. And on the side of Azure, you have their captain will be on that Elder Titan Situ, followed by the support of 6 on that Crystal Maiden. We have Flaps, I believe it is. Stand-in Flaps will be on that Luna. In mid lane, you've got Howl will be on that Bloodseeker, and finally, you got the Timbersaw being played by Selfless. Selfless? Selfies.
I don't know.
Selfless.
We'll go with one of those. On the side of Yellow Soul, we do have their captain playing on that bounty hunter. It'll be Roydzy. Pudding Head would be on the Windrunner. We do have Nevdi playing the Night Stalker. For a second I said Batrider. Katy Perry is on the line, and last but not least we do have Woundwalk on the Weaver.
30 seconds.
What a Batrider.
It's those wings.
Yeah, I mean they're so similar, being orange and all.
Yeah.
But
I'm just tired. So I'll stop seeing colours. Yeah, as you were saying earlier though, this is going to be really interesting in terms of how their lane is, because this is from the side of Azure, of course, because they do have a potential off laner and mid laner in the Elder Titan, same with the Timbersaw. It looks like it will be a Bloodseeker mid.
looks like we might actually see a 2-1-2 lineup almost. It looks like Crystal Maiden wants to stay top. She might just be here to ward, but we might have a 2-1-2 lineup, which is interesting. And actually, both sides are running a 2-1-2 lineup.
This is, I mean, we have seen this a lot more now. 2-1-2 has sort of made a bit of a resurgence since the new patch. Lane equilibrium, pulling and whatnot is just not as effective, especially since you can give away free experience to the enemy. So this 2-1-2, it's not too surprising. I find it a little bit strange that they picked like 2 offlane heroes to on the side of Yellow, so that is to go into bottom.
And that's what's got me going a little bit. I mean, Windrunner and a Bounty Hunter don't really make the best of lanes, especially against an Elder Titan that just looks to seem to be in them both up quite easily. He throws out that Astral Spirit and just completely harassing them down. Not much they can do at that lane. Top lane, however, it's going to be in favour of this Crystal Maiden Timbersaw, in my opinion, because of the amount of damage Timbersaw can pull out and how much the Weaver isn't able to do in lane. So even if it's played by a skill hero, he still is fairly fragile and squishy. If a Crystal Maiden throws out that Frostbite and the Timber Chain and that Whirling Death is there, Weaver's going to drop fast and he's going to drop hard. And there's just only so much Katy Perry can do about it.
Yeah, during the drafting. I said how maybe they want to go aggressive with this Crystal Maiden, but it seems like they don't want that at all. What they want is to just this Crystal Maiden here is just there to soak EXP. If they decide to jump on Softless, I don't know. It's basically they just throw out the Frostbite to lock them down, so that way they can get away and ensure they don't lose any heroes and don't give away any kills. Particularly when you've got a Weaver on the opposing side there, you don't want to give any early kills to her. Also the Lion as well. Once Lion has level 6, can really start to cause havoc around the map.
And How's taking a lot of damage from this Night Stalker mid being played by Nevdi, but he is Outlast hitting him, so he'll just be able to easily weave his way and his health back up there when he needs to. But he's got to be careful. If Nevdi decides to strike or starts getting this bottle up and running, if he chooses to go for that early bottle, he's going to be able to put out a lot of damage and force How off the line, and he won't be able to get any creep kills purely from the amount of damage and harassment coming out from Nevdi in that mid lane. But at the moment, he's doing quite well. He is almost leading the scoreboards. Weaver is taking the charts in that route, and they're doing a little bit of pulling at top, so getting a little bit of extra XP out of those lanes. The same can be said down at bottom, but Bad Hunter, he's already there to start soaking in that XP.
Yeah, this is sort of what we were talking about before, which tri-lanes is just hard for them to freely get those pulls and get the experience on your supports when that offlane is going to be stealing some of that EXP because now it's shared among everyone. It means that that 2-on-2 style is a lot more viable, and as we've seen already, it does get played a lot more now.
And there's a sentry ward up here, right next to an observer ward. That should be getting counted quite soon. If it was the last patch, there would have been a slight vision, I think, around. It should be now to see that observer. They'd be over there within a jiffy. But at the moment, they will walk past there, hopefully before that sentry ward goes down. Or just be an unfortunate waste of that sentry that's been sitting there for a while. In mid lane, once again though, we do... Nevdi, he did decide to pick up that bottle, but then at the same time, House got the bottle, so it'll come down rune control between these two heroes. They're both doing quite well, trying to keep each other down, trying to deny each other, force each other off the lane. Nevdi's getting the better out of forcing them off the lane, and actually, up top lane, we have a little bit of initiation. And, like I said, that Timbersaw and Crystal Man, they're just very scary at the moment. They'll be able to take down these squishy heroes, and, well, no first blood yet, it did go the way of the creeps.
Yeah, I mean that was
and Frostbitten comes out. Are they going to be able to do it? No, not enough damage there.
No, it was a great timber chain there coming out from Softless to deal a lot of damage, and Six was able to put down that Frostbite and just deal extra damage with the Nova. And the line in the early game is very fragile. Has to be very careful not to overextend him. Doesn't really have an escape. He has some, he can disable the enemy, but at the same time, if you get initiated on like that, you're going to take a lot of damage very quickly.
And up at top lane, they're trying to do a little bit of damage. Crystal Maiden does find that kill on the line, actually. They get the Frostbitten and the follow-up damage coming out from that Crystal Maiden. I don't believe Softless, any of his abilities, other than that Well and Dead hit, but they're two very squishy heroes. And when you have two very squishy heroes, it comes down to your laning partner. And because they have a strong laning partner in that Timbersaw, they're just going to be able to find these kills. And you also admit they're going to struggle in this top lane for a while. They're going to have to hope for a rotation comes out from that Night Stalker to try and help them at that top lane, try and shut down those two heroes. Because in the meanwhile, they're just easily winning that lane. I mean, it's nice that One Walk, he's still picking up all those creep kills he can, but he's got to play extremely defensive, or he could find himself the next target from that dual laning combo.
Yeah, now we have Nevdi. He's rotated into bottom for a sec, but he's just going to go back into that mid lane. I guess he didn't see that there was really an opportunity to jump on any of them. This is currently, Azure have taken a good opportunity by grabbing a lot of those early kills, and we spoke about how during the team fights they'd probably have the advantage just based on their lineup. The other side of the mid, they have to be careful not to fall too far behind, because the ultimates of the lineup from Azure, you've got that Luna, you've got that Timbersaw, it can deal so much damage. Nevdi's moving up at the top, looks like he wants to create some plays.
They're going to do a lot of damage to Nevdi at the moment. He tries to do out that void, he's got no follow-up. They're going to turn back around, they're going to continue chasing them. They do find that kill. Softless will find that lot of damage coming down to that Night Stalker. And now Hal's up here. He's going to throw out the silence. He's used the Rapture. Then there goes the Whirling Death, and that will pick off that line. So that's 2 kills going in favor of Azure there. And that came out from a fantastic ward that unfortunately did not get counted from Yellow Solo Mid just a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I mean that was fantastic play there by Azure. Nevdi a little bit over aggressive. He ran up the river. They were able to spot him out, and the moment he moved into a good position, they frostbite. Then we saw the timber chain and whatnot, and basically he dropped very quickly. Um, and yeah, it's just Azure. They just timed when to attack very well and capitalized on a pretty well two relatively easy kills.
What do you feel about Nevdi not picking up his ultimate on a night stock? I mean, there is because of the new change to the night and dark system, there is you've got a little less time before you hit that daytime. Do you think it's worth it trying to save picking up that ulti later, or do you think it's still worth it trying to pick it up early and continue to extend that nighttime as long as possible?
I think that I don't know, like it's good because the darkness lowers the vision as well of wards and heroes by 25%. Um, I would have liked to have seen it picked up. I think he was hoping to maybe get a successful gank in that first night without the darkness, so that way he'd have a lot more experience and whatnot, and probably get another level.
And they're going on top of
behind
One
to
Walk's taking a
get
lot of
that
damage.
darkness.
He will fall. Did not have that time lapse skilled. They hit him as he hit level 6 and he just didn't have the ability to skill it up, and he got killed before it got leveled. So very nice timing once again, coming out from these two heroes at top lane to find the kill on One Walk.
Yeah, I mean, Azure so far a great play. They've caught the first 5 kills of this
And
game,
they're
and
gonna go on. No,
honestly,
they're
man,
not.
there's
Sorry.
certainly
They were looking at going on in there, and they just got a little bit hesitant, and then taking turns running next to the tower. Kate Perry does survive this round.
yeah, just hiding in those trees, away from vision. But yeah, this is still mid. They have to be very careful because they can't give up too many kills, particularly in this lineup. I mean, we've got Crystal Maiden who's almost level 7. Um, Lion's only a level 4, as in opposite to that, and Timbersaw as well, almost level 8. As I was saying before, Nevdi Pro was probably hoping to have a successful gank or something in one of the different lanes, so that way he'd have a higher level by the end of the first night, and maybe he can get that darkness off to extend that first night for a bit longer. Unfortunately, it hasn't been going so well for
And
him.
Nevdi, he gets hit
And
by
now
the
he's getting
Rapture in
jumped
middle
on.
lane. They're all going to be chasing him down. The Chakram comes flying out. He's got nowhere to go. He has to stand there while all the abilities just hit him out of nowhere. And unfortunately, we got another pause, but Azure, they've taken a commanding lead into this game. You look at the difference in gold. They're 3.5k gold in at 8.5 minutes, and that's no. And all the tier 1 towers are down. If you see something that large of a gold lead at the start of the game, you expect a tier 1 tower to be down, and you feel, yeah, they're not too far behind. But if they're 3.5k gold ahead, and there's not a single tower going down, they're in a very comfortable position.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for them. He did DC, but I don't think it would have mattered even if he didn't. He got jumped on by just too many. Um, and yeah, as you were saying, they haven't gotten a tower yet. They've gotten 6 kills to their name. It's Once they do start getting those towers, they're going to be even more aggressive around the map, and it's going to be very hard for Yellow Solo Mid to find farm on this Weaver, and they're going to fall back even further if they don't start creating some plays.
So, whatever.
Even Bounty Hunter. I was just gonna say, even Bounty Hunter, he's only level 5 at the moment. Is still hasn't hit level 6, and it's almost 10 minutes into the game. We were saying about how he had to he gets jumped on. The clips from Luna, and of course the Astral Spirit from Al Titan just finishing it off. But yeah, we were saying about how Roidsy, he had to get that level 6 quickly so he can start roaming around the map, getting those tracks up, getting that extra gold for his team. But unfortunately, it just hasn't been happening this game.
He's going to split out this Crystal Maiden. The Sentry Ward's going to be like, hey, I see a bounty hunter right here. She's going to try and get away. She turns around, she throws out that Frostbite. She says, I'm going to take you. Throws down her ultimate freezing field. She's still chasing down Roidsy. Roidsy almost falls for the solo Crystal Maiden. Nevdi, he'll come in here. He pops his ult. He gets raptured, but he's still running. He's going to TP out. He's not going to find himself a kill, but he will get Frostbitten. So he will fall very shortly. One more auto attack. Can they find it? They're not close enough. He turns back around. He's going greedy. He's going ham. He will pick up a kill, and then he does get silenced. He should fall. He's got no way out of here, and the Astral Spirit will almost secure that. Bloodseeker will find that kill themselves, and that was very, very over aggressiveness coming out by Nevdi for almost no real reason. It's not a favourable trade for them at all.
He got the kill. I think he figured, once he got ruptured and once he I think he realized that there wasn't really much getting away. Or at least he thought that, so he was like, you know what, I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna try to get a kill at the very least before I die.
And we have little hasted frog running around in seconds. They're going to turn back in. They're going on the bounty hunter, and he pops. He just hit level 6. He still didn't have that track up and running, and he just dies. There's nothing he can do about it. Chakram comes out on Katy Perry. Katy Perry's going to take a lot of damage. She gets frostbitten, and the Timber Saw will show her how to sing. And she's now gone. They're now 10-1 in favour of Azure, and Azure, they're just having a fantastic early game. You wouldn't have put it to them having a fantastic early game. You'd think it would be Yoshi mid and their ganking lineup, but this is just getting harder, and more out of hand for Yellow Solo Mid at the moment.
Yeah, I gotta say, Azure's just been making more plays around the map, and we saw that pretty much from very early on in the game. Nevi does deny that mid tier 1 tower, which is nice, but that just means Azure's gonna have even more map control from here on out. With DC Luna sitting at the bottom lane, hasn't really been contested at all, sitting on 55 last hits and 30 denies. That Luna's going to start coming online very quickly, and I'm not sure if Yellow Solo Mid are going to have anything to answer for it. Once that Luna has a BKB, it's going to be tough. You know, you can't stun her up and all that sort of stuff. In fact, there's a nice shackle, but no real follow up there.
I still think Shackle is weird, and the way it latches onto trees. I mean, it came down at like a parallel to the trees, and it shackled across. Like, I don't even understand that sometimes. It's very strange. But they're doing a lot of damage to Puddinhead. Puddinhead does get put to sleep underneath that tower. Unfortunately, they're not going to know about that. We will see the power shot coming straight on through. But if this Astral Spirit hits, it's not going to hit. We will see them run away from Puddinhead. And now Nevdi, he's running in. They've seen the rotation. Can they get on out of here in time? They can. As unfortunately for Night Stalker, they do have vision. He wasn't... Not nighttime, and he can't just haste his way up that ramp. He will retreat back to the mid lane, trying to find some more XP, and in the meanwhile, there's going to be an initiation up top. Katy Perry, once again, she's going to feel the roar coming out from How and will fall. And Nevdi, he does TP up top. He's going to throw out that void, but there's not much he can do about it. He doesn't really have the silence. He's going to get raptured. One walk, he's just going to watch his partner fall down. There's just absolutely not much he can do about it. Freezing Field comes out, doing a lot of damage. He doesn't have enough to time-lapse if they do continue on him. He gets hit by that Frost Field. He's going to time-lapse as he did manage to find the mana in the end. He's going to Sakuchi his way behind that tower, and they're going to try and hide. Puddinhead's trying to make an escape route if they need to use it.
Yeah, Puddinhead's... He actually doesn't have a TP or anything, so he has to be careful. One walk got out of there, but now there's still 4 heroes here, and he's by himself. Looks like he's going to get chased.
And they're still chasing him down. Puddinhead will get hit by that Frostbitten, and he's going to fall. And now, going to have Roidsy. He's going to walk into the fight, and if he's not careful, he'll just fall like the rest of them. At the moment, they're lemmings walking off the cliff.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, this sentry is here. I'm pretty sure Roidsy knows about it. They were able to pick up the Night Stalker before thanks to that sentry. I don't believe he was under 50% health at the time, but one way or another, they should know it's there, and they have to be very careful now. They've lost that top tier 1 tower, they've lost their mid tier 1 tower. I suspect that bottom tier 1 tower will fall very soon, and from then on they're going to have to be very careful when moving around in between lanes, but also in their own jungle. I mean, just look how aggressive Azure are at the moment.
And
they want more blood.
the shackle comes out. It's not going to land onto the Crystal Maiden. Unfortunately, Puddinhead couldn't find it. They're going to try and chase him down. Sophless will not be dying anytime soon. The Earth Splitter does land onto one here. It lands onto Katy Perry. 6 will fall. That will be the second kill for the game for Yellow. So midday going against Roidsy. He's under the tower. He throws out that truck. Can they find him? They do find that kill on that Weaver with that truck. Bonus gold. They're going to turn to Sophless. Sophless does have a Bloodstone up, and he's just going to try and take this as long as possible. He's going to take it for a while. He's got no support around. He will fall to those creeps, stealing the kill away from where it was needed most, and that's on top of this one walk.
Yeah, but at the same time, they lost one there, but they gained 3 kills, which is nice for them because they've really been falling behind, and it was as a small victory for them, but at the very least, it's a victory. They need more of those to really start coming back into this game, but at the very least, they were able to defend up there without losing too much, and also by creating some opportunities and getting some kills.
And we're going to have Nevdi once again being so aggressive in the opposing jungle. And if he gets caught out once here again by being too aggressive, he's going to watch that Centaur come in. They're not going to worry about it too much. But if he continues to be that aggressive against these heroes, he will find himself dead again. He's been caught out twice, possibly 3 times from over-aggression and counter TPs coming from Azure. And now there's going to be an initiation. We will see the damage coming down top of Flaps. Timbersaw does find Lion's Head in the meanwhile in that backlines. We do see that Frostman. We do see the Rapture. He's going to get slept. He's going to try and find his way itself a kill, but he's going to walk himself to death. In the meantime, you have the rest of the side of Azure picking off those heroes that could not catch up to Nevdi. And Nevdi's over-aggression will cost his team a lot of kills. They might find Puddinhead here. Puddinhead still on the run. We're going to see that Timber Chain. He will get shackled up to that tree. And now we do see the 4th hero died in this engagement. Unfortunately, Softless could not continue to chase down that one walk, but Nevdi's over-aggression costed his team 4 deaths.
Yeah, that was. I mean, Azure just rotated it extremely well. They basically all moved down into the bottom lane, and they just essentially reversed the initiation. Yeah, they jumped on that. Well, they tried to jump on that Luna, but they saw the Slaughter coming, and then they backed off far enough to the tier 1 tower where they didn't have the initiation advantage anymore, and Azure just completely turned it around.
And now they're trying to defend this lane here. And one of the big problems at the moment is they don't have any heroes farming, and I need some farm. Bounty Hunter, level 6. Windrunner, level 7. Night Stalker, he's doing a level 11, but he's running in here. We just see that Finger of Death. The Eclipse is popped, doing a lot of damage on top of that Earth Splitter. Bloodseeker will pick up that kill. They turn into Puddinhead. Puddinhead will fall shortly down. The buyback comes out from Nevdi. Nevdi wants to get back in this fight. He does have ultimate. He will use it. He will chase down this Luna. Can he get? Does he have enough damage? Can he get in there? No, he can't. Softless, he'll turn around. He says he doesn't want any of this, and How's here to help him out. And they're going to chase this Night Stalker off. They will almost find a kill. Chakram comes out. It will slightly dodge. We've got to silence up in 1 second on this Bloodseeker. He does silence up. Nevdi turning around. He almost will find himself dead, but How will have to retreat. There's too many heroes down the side of Yellow Solo mid. Bounty Hunter's going to be TPing in. Quite aggressive for him for only being level 7 against an unknown amount of enemies, as they do not have any vision on that river. But once again, Azure taking another great team fight, and they're backing out before things get too disadvantageous for them.
Yeah, I mean, Hal on the Bloodseeker almost died there. If KE Perry on the line just had enough mana, we saw him pop out the mana drain, but he didn't have enough for the stun, and the Hex was on cooldown. But under that tier 3 tower, he was able to get a stun off. Hal would have been dead, I'd say, but lucky for him, the line didn't have enough mana and was able to back off in time, and that was great for Azure. They even lose anyone there?
I do not believe so.
So they capitalized on 4 kills for essentially nothing.
And now we got. There's nice sentries coming out. There's nice sentries coming out by Azure. They've always got sentries in every location. In this mid lane, that's a freshly placed sentry. Already watching any rotation from Roids if he's going to be sitting around. They've been constantly counter-warding. They've constantly getting rid of any vision Yoso mid have had. And not to mention their aggressiveness has cut off Yoso mid from the rest of the lanes and the rest of their jungle. If once again Azure want to try and push up and they move past this river, Yoso mid will fall into this position once again where they don't know where heroes are. They will get into this kind of lineup where they're going to have to retreat, play as 5-man, and once again they're going to lose a lot of farm out. So at the moment, Azure, they control this entire game. Wherever they walk, Yoso may have to react, and if Yoso mid react wrongly, it's going to be game.
Is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, currently Yellow Solo mid, they've tried to come back with aggression. It's been a little bit like they've tried to commit a bit too much to it. We saw in the bottom lane when Nevdi jumped on there. I believe Roidsy was there to back him up, but it was too far. They didn't really have the vision either. They thought they had, you know, a good opportunity to pick off 1 or 2 heroes, but unfortunately there was a lot of rotation from Azure, which they didn't expect, and they were able to capitalize on it. So they have to be very careful with when they engage, but they have to, I don't even know what they have to do. They have to try to find pickoffs without losing too much. We saw them in top, where they defended against at the tier 2 tower. They were able to find 3 kills and only 1 death, which certainly helped them, but since then it hasn't been looking too good.
And we do see that sleep coming out on Royalty. He does get on out of there. And then we see the finger of death bursting down that Luna. And now the Rapture comes out. They're going to turn back around and Kate Perry will fall. Nefty will fall shortly after. So Luna for 2 heroes so far. Not looking the best, but they are behind. So that extra XP and gold being picked off onto that Luna will be a lot beneficial, especially since it's a track. One walk, he doesn't have a time lapse, so he will fall under the strength of the Zero lineup walking to him. Now they're going to get a tier 2 tower. And Yoshi mid, they've got 2 heroes left that can't really stop this push.
Yeah, this is a tier 2 tower down, and I mean, look at this gold lead. It's 14k. It's going to be closer to 15 once now that the tower's down. Once the updates. In terms of experience, it is over 15 now. Just looking at the items as well, we have a Timbersaw who's finished off his Bloodstone. Looks like he's working towards a pipe as well, which is certainly help him against that magic damage. BKBs on Luna, BKB on Bloodseeker. I mean, they didn't have a mecha up yet, but it looks like Elder Titan's working towards one, and based on how his game's going, he's gonna have one up very soon, sitting on 600 gold. So yeah, he should have his up in the next few minutes or so. Compare that to Yellow Center mid, they don't really have anything. Weaver's trying to go for a BKB, but it's going to be a little too late. I mean, Nevdi doesn't have much besides an urn and his phase boots. Windrunner as well, sitting only on a buckler. It's not going to get any easier for them. They're struggling to find farm in lane. Like, they can get some in the jungle, but jungle doesn't give as much experience as it did before, and jungle was never really that amazing for trying to farm up gold. It was always the lane which gave you the most out of it. So Yellow Solar mid, they need to actually pick off heroes to start coming back. But the problem is Azure's reaction timing and their knowledge of the map. I mean, they have all this vision up. They know whenever they're going to get jumped on at the moment. It's not looking too good for Yellow Solar mid.
And one of the problems with Yoshi mid, they do not have any heroes that can flash farm. They don't have a hero such as Luna that can walk into a lane and then walk straight back out of it after killing 3 sets of creep waves in about 2 seconds due to those bounces. They have Night Stalker. He takes a while cleaning up lanes, and that's all they're relying on. And the Weaver, actually. Weaver, sure, he can Sakuchi, he can get those double auto attacks and Gemini procs, but that's just not enough to clean waves out fast. Whereas on the side of Azure, they have such great cleaning heroes that can clean waves up easily. Even their support in that Crystal Maiden can clean up a wave and then get on out of there pretty easily, so she can get XP gold and she's left the lane already. And they can just, that's one of the advantages of their lineup. They can push, they can do a lot of damage, they can get out before Yoshi mid have time to react. And it just shows you up the top lane at the moment. Softless, he's got the creep wave, he's got an item coming in, so he's now got a 4 stuff in his disposal, and he's just going to be one hero that I really can't see dying anytime soon. He's 9-1 for 7 with 15 Bloodstone charges. He'll respawn instantly next time he dies.
Yeah, I mean, if he dies, he could probably just suicide and then like, no gold experience for you guys. But this is not looking too good for him. This Luna alone is scary, let alone any of the other heroes. We saw just then, actually, Yellow Center mid were able to deny the bottom tier 2 tower, but in the meantime we did have Softless and the Luna pushing out top, and they were essentially able to get a tier 2 tower, or most of a tier 2 tower by themselves. The rotation from Yellow Center mid, because they were defending bottom, it took them a while to move up into top, and by then there wasn't really too much they could do to defend that tower. I wouldn't be too surprised if, in fact, yeah, there we go, Azure, they are going to go for Roshan. Once they pick up this Roshan, they can certainly try it and go for a tier 3.
And Yoshi mid, they're going to throw a power shot out. They know something's up. I mean, you expect something's up when they've just gone missing. You do have some vision there watching them. They're going to try and find a sentry and find that observer. They're not going to find it. They have to come flying on through. It's going to land, but it will not land, actually. It will miss all their heroes. Kate Perry's trying to do whatever he can. Timbersaw will pick off that Windrunner. Now Bloodseeker will fall to that line. They're going to pop that Eclipse, and now Nevdi, he will die shortly after. And there goes the entire side of Yellow Solar mid. They're going to turn back around. They actually call the GGs. So Azure, they'll be taking game 1 of the qualifying rounds in defense of the Australians.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that was just extremely well played by Azure. I mean, just from that last engagement, Yellow mid knew that there was nothing left they can do. After losing those 3 heroes, they knew that Azure could have just gone for the rush, grabbed that Aegis and pushed into the base, and there was nothing they can do to stop him. Extremely well played by Azure. They created opportunities from pretty much every lane. The ganks from Yellow Silver mid, I mean, you know, it took ages for Bounty Hunter to get his level 6. Line was underleveled as well. Night Stalker being played there by Nevdi. He rotated around but wasn't able to find any opportunities, and Azure just took a great lead and capitalized on it. We'll be back very shortly. We do have game number 2, of course, coming up.